Welcome back guys. A friendly reminder that Behaviour didn't do the recent base kit anti-slug test where they slapped two existing perks into an existing game mode for, and I quote, following our internal testing, it did not meet our standards. They just couldn't release it guys because Behaviour's standards are so high they simply couldn't let us down. Now why am I mentioning this? Absolutely no reason at all guys. So anyway, we got the Walking Dead chapter in Dead by Daylight alongside a bunch of new items including the Fog Veil. The Fog Veil has a bug where you don't begin chase until you hit a survivor as a killer with a mouse 1 attack. Following our internal testing, it did not meet our standards. A bug which, might I say, was in the PTB and very well documented. It did not meet our standards. Meaning, you should avoid at all cost mouse 1 killers right now because if you can't start a chase, you can't get bloodlust, and then survivors can't block windows when they're in chase, essentially creating infinites on places like the shack. It did not meet our standards. Why did you add the Fog Veil's Behaviour when they're clearly not finished? We'll get into the balance very soon, but the bug that prevents chases should have constituted a delay at minimum to these items. This isn't some minor thing, this prevents a large portion of the killer roster from actually being playable because they don't have anti-loot to get the hit reliably without the chase. I'm not talking about bloodlust, I'm talking strictly window blocking. This mechanic exists because of piss poor loop design that can cause infinites, for example at the shack window. It's essentially an infinite when the pallet isn't thrown, which is why the entire gameplay of the loop comes down to how fast you can burn through the pallet. If that window never blocks, you don't need to shift tech to do that, you're completely boned as a mouse 1 killer. And yes, you can run Bamboozle, but you shouldn't need to run that perk because Behaviour pushed a literal game-breaking bug into the game when we reported on it 4 weeks ago. What is the point of PTB's Behaviour if you're just going to ignore actual game-breaking bugs on them? There's also a new bug with Springtrap's doors. When I interacted with them as a survivor, all my audio was muffled afterwards. What I'm going to do is play my footsteps before interacting with the door and after interacting with the door. You can clearly hear the sound is muffled after. This stayed the whole match and affected all in-game audio but not UI audio like skill check sounds. It also didn't happen when I played against him later that night, so I don't know if this is an indoor map issue or another issue related to the Fog Veils, but it is an issue, meaning they've now broken the door's audio 2 times in 3 patches. It did not meet our standards. Also, I keep getting this error whenever I click Survivor to try and queue up for it. Standards. Look guys, I don't want to be negative. I really don't. I like to try and be positive because I suffer from depression, and constantly being negative has this really bad effect on my overall mood. But you're making it really hard, Behaviour. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. This is 2 major patches with 2 major licenses with serious game-breaking bugs brought in with them. The dumbest part is you didn't even need to do this. At least from what I played, the Walking Dead chapter and its associated perks aren't broken in terms of stability. There was no rush to push these survivor items through, and the things like the door bug or loading menu bug could be forgiven.
What the hell is even that?
But game-critical bugs you knew of weeks in advance cannot. It's a joke. Next, we're going to quickly go into the general balance because I believe they ignored a lot of the feedback here as well. Again, let's go into the Fog Veils, particularly the Eerie add-on. Now this was completely broken in the PTB, so they nerfed it a fair amount for live. So apparently, it only increases the opacity by 10%.
No, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if that checks out.
It also halves the cloud duration and decreases the size by 25%. Sounds hefty, right? Well, the radius with the purple add-on is still much larger than the void crystals. It's also still exceptionally thick and really easy to lose the killer. In fact, you'll see in the background footage of this whole video me using it and how many times I lost the killer with it. It's still way too strong at this state, so imagine how broken it was on the PTB when it had no downsides. I know there will always be the survivor mains crying how survivors can't have anything nice, but you don't want balance. I'm extremely biased with this item because I more than anyone love playing stealthy on survivor. My 2 most used perks are lightweight and iron will, so an item that makes stealth better I will always be inherently biased towards, but this is too much. I lost the killer almost every single time I used it, and when I didn't, it's because I didn't even bother trying to be stealthy with it. Like here, I vaulted the window and then just ran into the open. It's stupendously broken for something that has unlimited charges and restocks every 60 seconds. And if you're going to say, oh, but you need an Eerie add-on for it.
Stop it.
I have more Eerie add-ons for this thing than I have Bog Veils combined with 217 White Wards, meaning I can use these things 217 times, assuming I put no more blood points into Ellen. It being an Eerie add-on is not an excuse. It shouldn't be this easy to lose a killer with it. I also question it increasing the thickness by only 10%. It doesn't feel like 10% at all, it feels much thicker than that. Maybe it's because it's white instead of black, but it is way thicker and way easier to lose the killer than just 10% in my opinion. You also still get it immediately when you spawn in, meaning you can counter Lethal Pursuer entirely still. So expect more corrupt interventions if a lot of people are using these in the lobby. The Map Eerie add-on, which is wiretap on a button, also received no nerfs from the PTB, so that's completely broken. The rest of the map changes and key changes were fine, however. On to other things ignored. The Franklin's deletion went through to live. Meaning killers have no counters for those items other than the Plague, who you can't play right now because the chase bug is in the game. The immense pushback on the Franklin's nerf was completely ignored by behavior, so enjoy the healing and smoke meta without any counterplay. Klein is ludicrously broken right now with the haste, he just throws piss at his feet and you essentially just die. Before, when it came to the hinder, if you shift W he had to aim it to hit you, or he had to play around pallets if he threw it at a pallet because the hinder doesn't affect pallet vault speeds. Since it's haste, he can just play around the pallets by using his increased lunge, and you can't shift W because you just throw the bottle at his feet and then catch up to you instantly with the hinder. It genuinely looks like he's speed hacking. The Night Banner changes were reverted, so that's good. He's not unplayable. However, they removed Unbound proccing on killer powers and then didn't give it any compensation buffs after removing this ability, following the 7% haste nerf before, so the perk is completely dead yet again. We got a whole 2 months out of that perk before behavior slashed it out of existence, a certified behavior classic.
I think we did a pretty good job so far.
So overall, the game is substantially worse right now. Multiple playstyles are non-existent, killers can't play Mace 1 killers, so there will just be even more blights, perks got decimated that didn't need to be, mass amounts of bugs, more swift perks with The Walking Dead, and generally they just did what they do best, ignore most of the PTB feedback and push game-breaking bugs to live. And this isn't even all the issues either, I'm just really not in the mood to go through basically what I went through on the PTB video. These are just the egregious issues with the new patch. On a positive note, the menu is the best menu we've ever had.
Fantastic!
Why did we not get this as a map instead of Shrek Swamp behavior? In fact, that's an insult to Shrek Swamp, because that looks like a fairy tale. How can we go from this beautiful main menu and then the actual gameplay bit is going to be this?
Disgusting!
They also fixed the Sadako UI bug introduced with the FNAF chapter, where it would show the TVs you previously highlighted indefinitely for the rest of the game. Did they fix the Demanifest bug that's been in the game for 1 year and 7 months and makes one of her add-ons completely useless, and is holding hostage one of the only buffs she got in her last kit, Decimation? No? No? Oh well, there's no surprise there then. Also, the Rift has some really nice skins in it, with multiple Deep Rift variants for once, which is nice. But it wouldn't be a Rift without Feng getting a skin. Anyway, I'm gonna go play literally anything else since I don't feel like playing Blight by Daylight. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now, gamers.